Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's do a recap of week 9 of the marathon training so far. We just passed the halfway point of this 18-week training program. Week 9 took place from the 10th of July to the 16th of July, and we're currently still in the endurance/lactate threshold training block. So Monday was just a bit of rest, a bit of walking. As usual, I do my strength training and some plyometrics on Monday. Tuesday was a 16k double recovery. It was 10k's in the morning and 6k's in the evening. I did the morning recovery on grass at Bankstown City Sports Complex and the evening recovery at Roos Park. Both runs felt quite sluggish. I think I was still recovering from Sunday's long run since I was sleeping a bit later than usual the past 2 days, and yeah, I was also quite busy that evening, so I did my evening recovery run a bit later than usual, like around 7 p.m. I'd much rather do it at around dusk, which is like around 5 to 6 p.m. here. But yeah, overall, recovery didn't go that well. Wednesday was a 24k medium long run at Sitlin Park. I still felt kind of tired and sluggish. I feel like I should have done the recovery run on Tuesday a bit earlier. The evening recovery run, that is. I should have done a bit earlier than 7 p.m. And I feel like this time I had to like focus a bit more and put in a bit more effort than usual to like sustain the pace that I sustained, I guess. But overall, I still pulled through, so yeah, that went okay, I guess. Thursday was a 10k recovery at Salt Pan Creek. I felt a bit better that morning. I ran into another runner this time at the start of the route, which is quite rare because I don't really see many runners at Salt Pan Creek in the mornings when I run, I guess. It's mostly people who walk, and sometimes people walk the dogs as well, but not many runners, I think. It was her first time there at Salt Pan Creek, so we ran together the whole way there and back, and I was pretty much the tour guide the whole way. And we had some interesting chats along the way, and overall it was quite a relaxed recovery run, which is great. Friday was a 21k medium long run at Sitlin Park. I felt a bit more recovered, so it was back to normal for the most part. Effort was a bit easier than Wednesday's medium long run, even though on paper it's almost the same average heart rate and pace and the cadence, but yeah, it felt way easier than Wednesday's medium long run, I guess. Saturday was an 11k recovery run with some speed work at the end. I did my first 5k's at Rhodes Park run. Did it mostly at recovery pace this time, which is good. I met up with another running buddy after the first kilometer, and we kind of stuck together for the next few kilometers until we broke off around the 4th kilometer. And then after the park run, I had like a post-run chat with another running buddy. Did a little cool down run together, like around 3k's of it. Then I did another 3k solo to get in the rest of the 11k's, and then I finally finished it with some strides, 6 by 100 meters. And overall, Saturday's run went pretty well, I think. Sunday was a 26k long run with 19k's at marathon pace in between. So I started off like a 7k warm up, and then I do the 19k marathon pace. This time I felt quite tired because I didn't get much sleep the night before, and also started the run a bit later than usual. I like to start my long runs at like at least around 7 to 7:30 a.m. But this time I started around 9 a.m. It was quite cloudy that day, slightly cold and a bit of wind, but nothing too serious, I guess. I also brought one gel with me, which I took 7k's into the marathon pace effort. To be honest, yeah, like this gel was kind of suspicious a bit. I don't know if it was expired, but it tasted kind of funky when I had it. I also brought my soft flask this time, which is great. Definitely need some water to like get the gel down, I guess. So I did like a 7k warm up at Sitlin Park and Rhodes first, and I was already feeling quite tired and sluggish. Didn't have much confidence going into the marathon pace effort. And then the marathon pace effort was from Meadowbank to Parramatta and then back. It's about 9.5k's one way. The route is mostly on footpaths and it's quite flat throughout, but there's some sections that definitely drained me a bit, I think. I guess you really feel these sections as the run goes on or when fatigue starts kicking in. For example, there's some twisty, narrow sections, I guess, and there's also some steep but relatively short sections. And there's also some surfaces like boardwalks and pebble paving, which aren't really great for like running fast on, I guess. But there's a few reasons why I chose this route. To me, it's quite scenic and straightforward to follow. There's not much stopping needed, so not many interruptions. When it comes to doing long runs and like marathon pace efforts, I'd much rather do like a big route that doesn't loop back onto itself, which makes it easy to just keep going forward and like, you know, follow the way, I guess. But with this particular route for the marathon pace effort, the first half isn't too bad because I'm going westbound on the route and I'm quite familiar with the route because I do a lot for my medium long runs. And also when I run in the morning, the sun is behind my back, so I don't really get blind or like tired, I guess. However, when I head back eastbound, that route is actually less familiar to me. I don't actually go back normally, and by then the sun's always in my face. I don't know if this is actually true, but to me, it feels like the route is always like a net uphill when I go back. It's probably not. It's probably very subtle or not at all, I guess. So overall, the route tends to be quite mentally and physically challenging for me, especially the second half of my marathon pace efforts. Even though it seems to be like relatively flat throughout and like simple to follow, but it's still usually manageable for the most part. Another thing I wanted to note during the run was So I was wearing my Saucony Endorphin Speed Freeze. I had to like push a bit harder to like maintain my marathon pace effort. For now, it's mostly manageable, but it's making me wonder whether carbon plated shoes really shine in this area and whether I should get one soon, I guess. That brings the total mileage for this week to 109 kilometers. The following week is going to be a recovery week, which is going to be slightly less mileage. It's like around 93 kilometers, I think. Definitely looking forward to that. And also another interesting thing for this week is that I only wore 2 types of shoes for the whole week. The first one is my New Balance Rebel V Freeze, and the second one is my Saucony Endorphin Speed Freeze. I only wore the Speed Freeze once for the entire week, which was for the Sunday's long run. And then for the whole week before Sunday, I pretty much only wore the Rebel V Freeze, which means I haven't really worn my Brooks Glycerin 20, my Brooks Hyperion Tempo, or my Saucony Triumph 20 for the whole week. I'm not sure if I will for a while because I find that the Rebel V Freeze have been doing pretty well for me as daily trainers. I'm glad I have at least 2 of them in my rotation, the exact same pairs but just different colors. I am a bit worried that I'm racking a lot of mileage in them and not having like another type of daily trainer to rotate with, which probably makes the risk of injury a bit higher. Like I'm not getting enough variation in like muscle recruitment or like different stresses in the body. For now, I'm doing somewhat okay with just the Speed Freeze and the Rebel V Freeze, but I feel like I might need another daily train sometime. But for now, I'm still undecided on that, I guess. I also want to quickly talk about my warm-up routine for running. Ever since I started this whole running thing 3 years ago and up until like early this year, I didn't have a proper warm-up routine at all. What I did was I basically just walked and jogged a bit and then got straight into my runs, like whether it was like a recovery run or like a fast interval session or like a long run. Yeah, I didn't have a proper warm-up at all. And though I haven't been injured because of that so far, it's quite risky because I feel like an injury is going to happen sooner or later. And looking forward now, like I'd much rather have a proper warm-up routine to get my body activated and also like get in the right mindset before running. So what I'll do these days is I'll still do the usual like walking and then a bit of like light jog before my run to get a bit warmed up, like around 10 to 15 minutes. And then I'll start doing like calf raises. You know what, I'll quickly show you. I'm wearing my walking shoes today, so it's gonna be a bit awkward to like demonstrate these things, but yeah, I'll just show you anyway. Yeah, so normally first I'll just do some like quick calf raises on the ground, like that gets the calves like activated a bit and a bit of glutes, I think. Do some calf raises off the ground. Sometimes I'll do like one leg. I think it's like a bit easy if you have something to hold on to, but if you don't, then yeah, it's fine too, I guess. And I'll start doing some like what I call quick steps. Just like small rapid steps on the ground, like, you know, like this. Get your arms moving, remember to stay tall and stuff. And then I'll do like some high knees, I guess, like, yeah, like that, you know, whether it's on the spot or like moving forward. And then I'll move on to like leg swings. All right, let's get like a better angle. It's probably good to have something to hold on to while we're doing these like leg swings. I'm just going to demonstrate with this beam, I guess. So normally I do like front and back leg swings first, so like, you know, just to get like what, like the hamstrings activated or like the legs or the hips activated, like that. I'll do like 10 per side and swap over, do the other leg as well. I don't know if it's good to have like your legs straight or bent for this. I'm not very flexible, so yeah. I'll move on to the side by side leg swing. So like, just do like, again, 10 per side. And this really helps in getting like the hips loosen up, I guess. Yeah, remember to change your legs. I'm kind of leaning forward because there's like a little lip in the ground here. I'm trying to avoid scraping my shoe here, so I know it looks kind of awkward, but I normally stand a bit closer than normal. It's just that just something down there I'm trying to avoid right now. Yeah, see a bit of scraping. And then I'll do some like hip openers. So something like this. It's like on the spot, I guess. Just bring your legs up and to the side and then down. Yeah, do like around 5 to 10 of those per side. Like, you know, make sure to do the same for the other side. Just gets like the hips activated, I guess. And then I'll do like hip closes, which is pretty much the same thing but in reverse, I guess. So like sided and forwards. Make sure you like to do both legs, I guess. And then we do like hamstring or like ice cream scoops. I'll try to get like a good shot of it, I guess. So have like your legs in front of you, straight, and just like scoop. So rather than doing it on the spot, you should move forward with it. So like, and scoop some ice cream, you know. And that gets the like the hamstrings all like worked up, I guess, which is great. And then I'll do some like straight leg pogos. So like it looks like this something, but I'll demonstrate anyway. Maybe I'll do one from the side as well, I guess. And I also like to do some arm swings, get the blood in the arms flowing, I guess. Chest height ones, and also like this ones. And also like above your head, I guess. And also like arm circles. So it's like that. And like you can also narrow it down, I guess. And like some shoulder circles as well. Then some head circles, like just, you know, so your neck is like a bit loosened up, I guess. Make sure it's like to change the rotation. Then finally some like wrist circles. And like side by side, and yeah, that's pretty much loosening me up for the most part. If I have like an interval session or like some threshold workout, then I'll tend to add in some strides. So basically strides are just like 100 meters or so of running, and where you accelerate for the first 70 meters up to like your maximum speed, and then you kind of like hold that for the last 30 meters. But when it comes to strides, you should like stay relaxed and tall, and like make sure like you don't really like tense up when you're doing your strides. Just keep it relaxed and fast, you know. Try not to like clench your fists or like tighten up your shoulders. Just stay relaxed, keep tall, you know. Make sure you have a lot of turnover, and just emphasize on like good form while you're running fast. Sometimes I also do that at the end of my like aerobic runs as well, or recovery runs, but that's like what the program calls. I guess if you're doing strides as part of the warm-up routine, then you probably don't need that many, probably like 4 reps or so. But yeah, that's pretty much my warm-up routine for running. It's what I've been doing since the start of this year. It has really helped me get into the right mood and get me like a bit more activated before I start my runs. I'm not really an expert on this kind of thing, so I'm still trying to figure out what else to add into the routine or what I'm missing, or like to make my form a bit better. If you guys have any like advice or tips, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Yeah, I'm still learning, so it's always good to like figure out new things. I know there's a few like running drills I haven't like tried or added into my routine yet, so that can be handy too. I hope this has like helped you guys a bit. Other than that, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye.